Hey, what up, guys? So I'm coming to you live this morning. I'm doing a recap from this past weekend, where we saw a couple cards. I'm actually going to go into the zone card that was on Friday. Um, and if you missed that, you missed a decent card. I missed a couple of the fights. Kind of pissed off about that. I had some stuff going on, but I didn't realize till last second that on the zone card on the undercard, Luke Campbell was fighting. You guys don't know Luke Campbell. He was in a great Fight of the Year candidate with Jorge Linares a couple years ago, and he's currently the WBC's mandatory number one contender to Mikey Garcia at lightweight. He's waiting around. Obviously, now that the Garcia fight's over, he's been waiting around to see if Mikey was coming down or if he was going to be able to compete for the vacant belt. We'll still see what the WBC decides to do going forward, but he stayed busy and took on some unknown guy, scored a fifth round TKO, but he's a good fighter, So, in top level fighter, I think he's right now he's number four for me at lightweight, so he's pretty good lightweight. Um, the big fight though was the middleweight showdown between Maciej Sulecki and Gabriel Rosado. We found out going into the fight that the winner was likely going to take on Demetrius Andrade for the WBO title in June. So big implications going in. Sulecki, who gave Danny Jacobs a good fight last year, and then Rosado, who's just a tough blood and guts warrior for the last 5 6 years in the middleweight division. He's just a tough guy and always comes to fight. And for the first 8 rounds, Sulecki was dominating Rosado, which I wasn't really surprised. He's the more of the top 10 guys. Sulecki or Rosado isn't anymore. But Rosado in the ninth round found some power, and man, he dropped Sulecki twice, almost had him out of there by the end of the round. And then in the 10th round, he poured it on, but Sulecki boxed and was able to hold on enough to walk away with a 10 round decision. But Sulecki scored a couple knockdowns, I think, in the first round, and then in the eighth round right there, or seventh or eighth round, to where it really looked like he had the fight, locked up, and he could even score a knockout. And Rosado turned things around in the last couple rounds. So, but it was a nice win for Sulecki. Overall, he was the better fighter, and now he's likely in line to face Demetrius Andrade, which would be his first world title shot. So, congrats to him. It was a really good fight too. If you guys missed that, go back and watch it. Sulecki and Rosado. It ended up being a really good middleweight fight. And then in the main event, Tevin Farmer, he dominated Jono Carroll, to retain his 130-pound title. No surprise here. He scored a convincing unanimous decision. Carroll was game from what I read. I didn't even see this fight. Like I said, I had stuff going on, so I was only able to catch some of the Rosado fight. But yeah, not surprised here. Carroll's not really a known name, but I'm really hoping now that Farmer got another win that he's going to be moving forward with a bigger fight. And we'll get into that when we talk about the what's next week on Tevin Farmer. So, but big, good unanimous decision win for him. Congrats on that one. Now we're gonna go to the big card that was on Fox pay per view. We'll start with the co-feature. Saw David Benavidez against Jay Leon Love. No surprise that Benavidez won this fight, but I was surprised that he ended it so quick. I mean, he dominated him and stopped him in only 2 rounds. That shows you how good Benavidez is, and now Benavidez was calling out Anthony Durrell. He's also called out Caleb Plant, but I think the Durrell fight is going to happen next. Plant's got looks like he's going to be making an optional defense in July against somebody else. So I really think Benavidez is going to land Durrell next. And tell you the truth, I wouldn't be surprised if he takes another tune-up prior to that fight. But yeah, Benavidez looked good after 13 months off. He looked very good. Went out there, destroyed Jay Leon Love in 2 rounds. Big time win for him. Very impressed with that. Congrats to the former champ. And he's a good young star. You guys should definitely pay attention to him. Then in the main event, you had Errol Spence Jr. and Mikey Garcia for the IBF welterweight title. What a performance Spence turned in. I mean, the only thing missing was a knockout. But again, in hindsight, I actually think it was a bigger win to dominate and win every round the way he did. I mean, I predicted a one-sided decision if Spence couldn't knock him out. And I was right about that. I'm happy that I was right about that because I really didn't think Mikey was going to be in this fight. But I could see how smart and how good Mikey's been in the lower weight classes. I could see how Mikey could be in this fight. But a lot of people were saying, hey, he could do it. There was a lot of people. I'm out of California. A lot of people were saying Mikey was going to pull off the upset. Mikey was going to do this. Mikey was going to do that. But I guess I don't have a pro California mentality on fighters, but yeah, no, I had a good strong feeling that Errol Spence was going to dominate Mikey, and he did that. And he dominated him so bad where he shut him out. A guy like Mikey Garcia to lose every round, and I think the connect ratio was like 325 to 75. That's like not even fair. I mean, he made Mikey look like Mikey was nothing. So only thing I give Mikey is big heart. You know, he was able to stay on his feet for 12 rounds against a guy who hits really hard in Spence. Um, but outside of that, man, Errol Spence, what a performance! I mean, this guy really is on the net. You know, if you didn't know it already, he is on the next level, at the very top level. And I really can't wait to see what he does next. We'll talk about his what's next next week when I discuss that. But man, what a performance! Just a good, strong performance. Very impressed, and ended up being a good fight. So, and then just on Sunday, you had Michael Conlon in that ESPN one. I didn't get to see it, but he got a decision over little known Ruben Hernandez. Nothing really much to talk about there. But that's it, guys. So that's my opinion on the fights. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will be back with the preview of this weekend's fights coming up. So